Good afternoon. This is NTV and this is NTV at One. Let's have a look at some of the stories that are making headlines this afternoon. The Health Ministry confirms that Ebola tests on a Sudanese man at Ntv Hospital are negative, and the war against graft civil society takes the anti-corruption caravan to eastern Uganda. And government says it is not abolishing traditional institutions. Once again, welcome. My name is Malcolm Sime. Let's start with an update on Ebola. The Health Ministry has confirmed that a suspect case of Ebola has tested negative. A man, a 32-year-old Sudanese, was put under isolation on 6th August after he was found with signs of a viral infection. The ministry's spokesperson, Rukia Nakamate Mbazira, says the man was seeking treatment for hepatitis B, which had been confirmed in Sudan.
Identify this gentleman. This gentleman, after this gentleman was coming from Sudan, and when he disembarked, our screening team at the airport managed to identify him because he had presented with some signs akin to Ebola. He had a headache, general body weakness, and other signs. So after he was screened by our team, he was a probable source of Ebola, and therefore he was put into the isolation facility at Ntv Grade B Hospital, where we managed to get some samples from him. So it's due to the vigilance that we have at the airport that we managed to identify this suspect. So results that we have obtained today from the Uganda Virus Research Institute indicates that this man is free of Ebola viruses, he's free of all the Marburg and all other viral hemorrhagic fevers that we thought he could be having.
The Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Mary Karoro Okrut, has refuted reports that the government intends to abolish traditional institutions and their leaders. Okrut, however, says that the recent regulations, including ordering the publication of names and titles of all traditional and cultural leaders to be published in the National Gazette, was aimed at weeding out impostors. Addressing a news conference this morning, the minister says this will instill order and avoid conflict of interests that comes as a result of the mushrooming culture heads and institutions.
Because we have been getting imposters calling themselves these names, and we said no, this must stop. These names belong. They are respectable names and they belong to the proper institutions and should not be abused. We have been getting a cross culture of so many groups coming to us. Then they say, we are going to install this cultural leader, and these are the names. Another group comes in, but you have all heard about the problems which have been coming in. Another group comes and says, no, that one is a pretender to the throne. But the pretender to the throne comes and says, these are my titles. The other one is also claiming. So we really want to put things straight so that when you read, you know that these are the titles of this particular constitutional head.
When we visit communities, people say Sabasajja, Kabaka, or they even say Ruchira Basajja. And these are our cultural values that we all uphold to, which were missing in the Gazette.
Newly deployed officers in Uganda's contingent of the African Union mission in Somalia have been urged to work towards enhancing the rule of law and maintaining order in Somalia as they carry out their mandate in the country that has been racked by war. The AMISOM Police Commissioner Anad Pelai conveyed the message to 140 police officers who completed 7 days of training that was focused on advancing their understanding of the mission's mandate. Uganda now has a total of 210 police officers in Somalia.
The FPU that was previously here that have left a mark. They've performed a wonderful task in this area, and we've got you to keep it up and go on with the good work that they have done. And the way you conduct yourself is a reflection of everything else you do. Now, the people that need to do this and assist in ensuring community safety within Mogadishu is yourself and the other FPU here from Nigeria.
The military component have been able to weaken, devastate, and even chase away Al-Shabaab. What remains now is to rebuild the community, it is to rebuild people, to create law and order.
We are ready to protect and defend the mission mandate and raise the Uganda and the AU flags higher and higher.
The African Commission on Human Rights and People's Rights, together with the Uganda Human Rights Commission, has launched guidelines on conditions of arrests, police custody and pre-trial detention. The guidelines are meant to help reduce on arbitrary arrests and detention, as well as reduce on the number of prisoners on remand.
Challenges that are faced during investigations by the police, by the DPP, and then by personnel in the judiciary. So the situation in that sense is worrying, and the report calls for measures to strengthen the mechanism so that people can have speedy trials. Most importantly, that perhaps we need to review the law and consider pre-trial detention. We may have to consider as a country to have suspects come in and attend their trials from the outside, rather than incarcerating them and creating a burden on the state.
We're now going to take a short break, and Ntv At One comes back after these messages.
Use White Star Laundry Bar Soap with a lemon fragrance and you'll have a fresh, clean day. Be like a star. Use White Star. White Star Laundry Bar Soap. All day fresh clean.
Get ready to be counted. Knowing how many we are makes it easy to plan for all of us. So, answer all questions correctly. Your information is confidential and is only used for equitable resource allocation, improving service delivery and planning. Count for what counts. Starting from 28th August to 6th September 2014, together we count.
Ariel claims to give us the best stain removal in one wash. So we'll collect tough stains, red sand, fruit juice, chocolate ice cream, to see which gives the best stain removal in one wash. We'll wash one half with Ariel and the other with premium detergent. Did the other premium detergent remove these stains? And Ariel? Yes! Ariel, best stain removal in one wash.
On the next episode, brought to you by...
At Orange, we know you want to do more on the internet. That's why we bring you happy hour day and night.
Life Stories.
Weekend of Life Stories ndi Nyamitanga ekyalo Nsiche Mbarara District wenza okukyalira ku mukyala Mukadono eyafiirwa abaana be 3 n'abazzukulu 7.
Yasooka ne bambulungi naye n'aba ng'awasa nnyo abakazi buli
ng'awasa n'abaleeta ewuwo ate
wokka wooli obuzibu bwe buko abaana bange okunzigwako nga tenajja n'abaana mulizi afudde alina emyaka 26.
Ye yafudde ki?
Ate sigandi bamutta ng'ava ku mupiira.
Obulamu obusanga otya kati?
Kati mbusanga bubi kuba seeyagala.
Life Stories.
can download movies at the lowest prices and never fast from Orange. Dial *133# to buy a data bundle. Happy hour changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
Welcome back. Now, the fruits such as olives, the jambula and the strawberry guava are disappearing alongside the forests that are being depleted all over the country. In our Nature Files, we visit Naro's Plant Conservation Center in Ntv, where there is a race against time to save the environment.
Nature Files is brought to you by WWF with support from UNDP.
It is no secret that natural forests are getting depleted with each passing day. But remember that these forests harbor many species. However, when they get cut, so do these species, they all disappear. So scientists and researchers have endeavored to make collections of these.
Joyce Adokorach is one such person, an ethnobotanist at the Ntv National Agricultural Research Organization, NARO. She's well versed about the interplay between people and plants. She says that human activity is endangering plant species. This has forced NARO into moving to protect plant genetic resources, such as these fruit trees at botanical gardens.
What we do is we conserve especially species that are neglected, that are getting depleted in the wild. For example, we have this is Garcinia buchanani. It is locally known as insali. I don't know if you've ever heard of insali, you've ever eaten the fruits of insali. It's a very delicious fruit.
A few seedlings of this fruit were extracted from Bukaleba forest situated in Mayuge district. The forest was facing extinction.
We also raise some seedlings which we have distributed to the communities because we want them to keep in the community. Yeah, we want them to, for even our young generations to get them. We have this whole line.
This plant's bark is medicinal. It helps treat diarrhea and also doubles as a dewormer.
We usually cut and try to prune it to make it look smart, but it gives them a lot of branches. Yeah, so this is one of the species. We have another species the other side, which is the Palinari chiretifolia.
It's better known by its Ebinazi Luganda name. Those who have eaten it say it's delicious.
This plant is common in Rakai and West Nile. Yeah. So, and another important thing is that the wood from this plant is very good for charcoal. So it is getting also depleted because of its charcoal production.
Oil extracted from Ebinazi can also be used for massage.
Fruits around July. Yeah, the fruits are yellow, round of this kind. The flesh is eaten and the seed inside, it's hard and it is where you can crack the oil and get.
I think I've eaten that one.
Propagating the seedling has been troublesome, but it will be dispatched to the communities as soon as solutions are discovered.
We have Forester over there. The fruit. Oh, there's some. Even there are some ripe fruits.
Monkeys abound here, and yes, you guessed right. They feast on the ripe fruits.
Plants, they coexist with the animals. So for them to survive, they have to depend on the fruits.
There is always enough here to trigger an overflow. Take this tree. It has the capacity to produce one succulent fruit after another.
People are free to come and pick the seedlings. They are for sale, just small monies.
At no more than $1, one will have thousands of fruits in their own backyards to replenish their stock forever. That said, humans are the most dangerous pest to the preserved fruits even at this research center. They still even uproot fruit trees at a rate that puts the monkeys and birds in the shed.
When we are to plant, we plant the seeds, and when they eat, they leave out the seeds. So we pick those seeds are the ones we raise.
Even the bitter fruits considered poisonous are preserved. They serve a purpose, an ornamental one at that.
For shade, windbreaks, name it. All fruits in this block except Casnora, the edible fruits.
Waswa Mulumba, the Plant Genetic Resources Center Director, says the country's diversity has to be protected at whichever cost.
For purposes of crop improvement, for purposes of ensuring that our ecosystems are healthy, and also for ensuring that today and the future has the raw materials which can be used to produce new varieties, which varieties improve our productivity.
Yeah, here we have Jambula species. We have this huge one here. This one is called Syzygium cuminae. And then this one, it is Syzygium quinensis. This is indigenous to Uganda.
There is a lot more fruits here, including the mouth-watering jackfruit. This has only been possible because of conservation. A major rethink was needed because while once upon a time, one could easily get the fruits out of a forest, mass extinctions abound today. Conservationists, though, aren't turning a blind eye as natural habitats continue to be decimated. They are preserving a genetic pool that will help feed future generations. Florence Nalimba, NTV Nature Files.
Nature Files was brought to you by WWF with support from UNDP.
Thank you, Florence. Let's have a look at what's happening in the world of sport. Lee Westwood, Kevin Chappell and Ryan Palmer are sharing the lead in the US PGA Championship. England win to take a stronger position against India in a test cricket game being played at Old Trafford. This and more we have in our international sports news wrap.
England's Lee Westwood is joint leader of the US PGA Championship after 6 under par 65 on day one, a shot ahead of world number 1 Rory McIlroy. Westwood is involved in a three-way share of the lead with Americans Kevin Chappell and Ryan Palmer. Northern Ireland's Open champion McIlroy finished with 5 birdies in 7 holes and is on a tie for 4th with England's Chris Wood. Eduardo Molinari, Jim Furyk and Henrik Stenson are also 5 under par. In cricket, Stuart Broad took 6 wickets and James Anderson 3 as England assumed control of the 4th test against India on an action-packed opening day at Old Trafford. After winning the toss and choosing to bat, India collapsed to 8 for 4 as Broad and Anderson found an impressive swing and carry on a bouncy wicket. Captain Mahendra Dhoni countered with 71, but Broad blew away the tail to bowl India out for 152, a total in which a record equaling 6 batsmen were out for ducks. England lost both openers cheaply but rallied to reach 113 for 3 by the close, with Ian Bell unbeaten on 45. Bell added 77 with Gary Balance, whose dismissal for 37 in the final over gave a second wicket to fast bowler Varun Aaron, one of 3 India players making their first appearances of the series. England's near-perfect day has put them in a strong position from which to go 2-1 up with 1 match to play.
And again, and again.
In tennis, Andy Murray will face Joe Wilfried Tsonga in the quarterfinal of the Rogers Cup after his third-round opponent Richard Gasquet pulled out with an abdominal injury. Frenchman Tsonga earned a shock 6-2, 6-2 win over top seed and world number 1 Novak Djokovic. The Wimbledon champion looked rusty as he slipped to a defeat in 64 minutes. Swiss world number 4 Stan Wawrinka was also knocked out, losing 7-6, 10-8, 7-5 to South African Kevin Anderson. The highest-ranked player now left in the top half of the draw is Murray's Wimbledon nemesis Grigor Dimitrov, a potential semi-final opponent for the Brit. Murray beat Australia's Nick Kyrgios 6-2, 6-2 on Wednesday.
That's international sports, and now I'm going to switch to Studio B before we wind up. Ntv at One and Aaron, Darren, David Mansi, and Dennis. They also have surprise guests for you for this afternoon. But just before I go, Darren, our league is about to start, the local league. How do you rate Uganda's local league? And I mean, tell us about how do you rate it, you know, compared to the other leagues in the region. Do our fans go to watch football? And, you know, what should attract our fans to go and watch the local league, really?
Malcolm, I'll begin with the point you ended with, the one to do with the word fans. I think it's one thing that the Ugandan league, the Ugandan Football League, has lately lost, partly because of the wrangles in football, where the rope has been pulled in all ends so as to have football being played. It's one thing that has put the football in boardrooms, and it hasn't been played in the pitches and elsewhere. Unlike if you look at the other leagues where even our own Ugandan players just leave the country probably to go to Dodoma or Dar es Salaam or Nairobi or Kisumu to go and play for clubs there because of the organization there. One thing I do think is that if probably we get a little more organization right from the boardrooms, then we can have the terraces filled as it was in the 90s and the 80s.
And now we are being told that even some of the few stadiums who are left with the popular ones like Nakuru are up for sale, and soon we'll find cars belonging to some of the richest guys in town packed there. I don't know how far true that is, but I think that is that all comes down to why fans do not even go to watch soccer.
Like Malcolm, what I told you, it's gone down to our administrators, the people in the boardrooms, the people who wear the suits, those who do not wear the kits and come to the pitches. They've probably forgotten that the game is there for the footballers and not for the administrators themselves. And it's one thing, if you looked into it probably, and we changed it and thought of the people below the administrators, then probably football would be one of the better games to watch in the years to come.
So when is the league starting? What should we expect?
There have been so many leagues that have been talked about. There is one that is expected to kick off on August 22nd. There is another expected to kick off.
So which one is which?
September.
Because we expect to have one national league. Which one is which now?
And Malcolm, like the way I told you, it goes down to the administrators.
Okay, so you will explain the politics to the viewers, and that's it. That's Aaron Darren there. He will be going ahead on and on and on. This is a topic that can go on for about a month to sort out, to talk about the chaff in Ugandan football. And of course, the Premier League will also be coming. But NTV has all the updates. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter. But up next is our famous sports magazine, and David Lumansi and team are coming up.